anyone in the room that doesn't think she's going to get a great evaluation. Hard for that. If you ask me, it's going to be a big one. Too easy. George at the lectern. Our second speaker today is on deck. Our next speaker is an entrepreneur of the year. He's an author, he's a speaker, and he's a business coach. His name is Toastmaster Tim Rickie. Please welcome Toastmaster Tim Rickie with his speech entitled. Well, he ain't done nothing yet. Please welcome Toastmaster Tim Rickie with his speech entitled, What Lies Beneath. Tim Rickie. Are there any entrepreneurs in the room here? Okay, any wannabe entrepreneurs? All right, I'm in the right one. Go ahead and get that straight right away. Most small business people think they can solve their money problems they have in their business by increasing sales. We've got to get more sales, that'll solve the problem. True, but there's one more. And that's what lies beneath. That's where your nemesis really lies. It's expenses. And to give you an idea, I shorten my speech a little bit here. I was in the maid service business for 27 years. I was the founder of the first team system in this country. And I learned a lot from that because I had to. There was no one to teach you a business that didn't exist as a team system before. So I had to learn that. So I did my thinking and my dad required it. So one of the first things I noticed is so many of them, to this day, homemade service, they bill the customer. You're going to take losses like you wouldn't believe because as they forget to pay the bill, the time goes on, they diminish what you provided for them. They may have said on your callback, oh, it was great, but when time goes by, all of a sudden your service, they miss this and miss that. This is what happened. So what am I saying? You bill up front. You bill the day of service. We always did. And I see so many of my clients who are not including national franchises, and they change because they realize the losses can be tremendous. I have a system that makes sure that my clients can raise their prices, because most of them haven't raised their prices since they started businesses. Has your rent gone up? Has your cost gone up across the board? Of course they have. Hello? Michael Gerber called me and says, I have a client that I can't handle anymore, Tim. You've been in the business, maybe you can help her. Now, Michael Gerber is the greatest business coach in the world. Thank you, Michael. So I called, we'll call her Susan. I don't want to give her a real name. She's in St. Pete. She has a $750,000 a year maid service. She should be making at least 20%. She wasn't making any money. So I said, Susan, send me your P&L. Let me take a look at your profit and loss statement and see what's wrong. And then on the next call, called and I said, when's the last time you raised prices? You've been in business since '09. She said, oh, I haven't. And they went through the same thing. Did this cost more? She agreed. And I said, then you need to raise prices, and I have a system that I can teach you to do that. She said, well, how? I said, the first thing I want you to do is print out a slip for every customer you have currently. I want you to physically call them. Don't text, don't email, call them. You're in a very personal service. And they want to be connected to you. First 3 weeks, every Monday night was a call for an hour. She wouldn't do it. So I finally said the third week, look, Susan, you've got to do this or you're not going to get anywhere. Now, I gave you 3 questions to ask, and I'm not going to disclose those questions. To ask those customers very easy questions, open-ended questions that will provide you with a lot of answers. Call back the 4th week. Oh my God, they were so happy to hear from me. They hadn't talked to her in years. And they were very open. She was actually having a blast with it. She was through half the list in 2 days, and by the next week she was completely through it. The idea was, how do we raise prices when you haven't done them in years to match where you need to be today? You can't. If you do, the customer's going to take a slap across the face. It can be justified because it's needed with inflation, but they're not going to take it that way. So you raise a little. So we agreed upon $7 a visit. That was it. She had somebody, about 20% were weekly, the rest, the other 80% were every other week, which is very normal for the industry. So we did the math. $20,000. Right to the bottom line, because there's no expense except me as their coach. Right to the bottom line, that's all she can do. And by the way, as long as I've got you on the phone, and you've told me some good feedback here, you know we have inflation, can we raise your price? It's just $7. All of them agreed, because she was the average of 165. So it wasn't anything. Because I make sure you calendar this, they do this every year, 11 months before, so they know it's coming, they're not caught off guard. And that worked for her quite well. The next thing we looked at was her charges for processing. She's paying 6%. The average 4 years ago was 3%. Now you take $750,000 times 3%, you got some bucks. Right? I said, look, after we've gone through these two things, says, you realize you thought I was too expensive at $1,000 a month. Am I now? She said, well, I guess not. I mean, 20,000 there, and there's all the other money there. Now let's look at your payroll. Here's one of the biggest mistakes I see in the service industry, in that industry anyway, is that they pay by the hour. You realize maybe they might waste time between jobs? Oh, did you ever? Her payroll was 70%. You can't make a profit if you got 70%. I said, you got to put them on commission. She fought me on this for 3 months. She said, they'll quit. I said, no, because the time they're wasting between jobs, when you're paying them less to travel than your regular rate per hour, you turn it around. You could add another job and make more money. It took a little while to get that through her head, but that's true. Because now they got this. Also this, you know when they want their raises, initially we had raises from 18 to 22%. But when you're to that point, now what do? You start to look at dimes and nickels per hour. No. If you raise prices, guess what? They're on commission, so they get what? They get a raise, right? It's automatic. It's so simple. Some of the things we do in business are so simple. When marketing, I said there's only 3 steps in marketing. Jay Abraham, anybody know who he is? Probably the best marketer in the world. You hit him with a headline. You address an anxiety or a fear, you make an offer or a call to action. That's it. Now people make it so complex. It's incredible. I had a call yesterday. I want to get you more coaching clients yesterday. He's doing this with text all the way through. Hey, I wasn't interested because he didn't personally call me. Why don't you just call me? You know, telephone call, real voice, where you can kind of make some kind of judgment on personality by hearing their voice. You can do that. And the thing was, that wasn't going on. I actually have a formula for payroll. If you're in the service industry, and I'm running out of time, there's a formula for it, and I'll give it to you. You have to contact me with it. But remember, the problem of where your money is lies beneath. Mr. Bill,